VF is a single company, and all of VF's subsidiary brands, including JanSports, are part of this unified entity. VF has a single labor rights compliance program covering all production globally for all brands. And indeed, all aspects of sourcing and production are centrally managed. JanSport is required by VF to use the same labor code, facility compliance guidelines, and audit procedures as all VF brands. Thus, JanSport has no independence from VF where labor rights matters are concerned. So, our first question to this administration is, do you concede that JanSport and VF are the same company?
You want us to answer that?
Yes.
We'd like for you to continue. This is a little bit different than what we thought that this might be.
Okay.
A dialogue and conversation back and forth. But
you can
finish your presentation.
Oh, if you have any comments, President Ramsey, we would be happy to hear them.
No, go ahead.
We just kind of wanted to get your feel of like your knowledge of the situation and how you are interpreting what we're telling you.
And we were assuming that as someone in the economics department that you understand how subsidiaries work. Right. So you understand that anything that is done to JanSport does affect the VF brand because JanSport is a VF brand. So we were wondering what yourself, what Harlan Sands, what Provost Willingham thinks. Since we have provided the information, we were wanting to know your input on it. This is a back and forth dialogue.
Go ahead and finish your presentation. You have rehearsed, and we want you to go ahead.
If these aren't cleared up, then there's not going to be a lot of productive dialogues possible if we're just operating on fundamentally different definitions and states of affairs. So we really would like to.
This is really an excellent opportunity for you to help educate us on all the facts that you have.
That's definitely the intent of the paper.
And we have provided you with plenty of information on this. We're just wanting to see the knowledge that you all have regarding this information. So we feel like we've been very clear regarding the contract cut. If you all weren't here to discuss the contract cut, we were wondering why you all agreed to this meeting.
We want to help you. We want to help understand what we can do to address the issues that you all have. So
regarding VF signing on to the accord.
And to the broader issue of workers' rights. Right now we're talking about one country, we're talking about one company.
We're talking about 190,000.
You feel like that I, in any way, disrespected your beliefs, your passion, and what you're working for, I deeply apologize.
I think the silence that happened until March of this year was certainly a disrespect, since we are tuition-paying students who we feel have the right to speak to you in an unmediated fashion. We feel that the workers coming from Bangladesh certainly deserved the respect of meeting with President Ramsey. They came all the way here. One of them was a Rana Plaza collapse survivor. She wanted to tell you all exactly why the accord is such an important thing. I'm wondering right now why you all aren't necessarily addressing cutting this contract at this point. Why that is a question that is being diverted. Honestly, it is a yes or no issue.
We're trying to help us all get to the position.
That's what we were trying to do as well.
The subsidiary doesn't do business in Bangladesh.
Right, but its parent company, VF, does do business, and quite a lot of business, and profits considerably from it, and as the parent company of JanSport, profits from our university's contract. So we find that equally as problematic as giving money to the actual people, like directly, who are oppressing labor and who are allowing workers to continue to die.
We gave you all binders full of information that we hoped you all would have read through so that you could weigh this decision. That was a month and a half ago. If you all haven't read the information, then perhaps that's problematic. But we feel that we have given this administration plenty of opportunity to not only we have research, but you all could have done plenty of other research on your own. So it is not as if we are coming in and we haven't been trying to bring these points across for months now. The only way that we were allowed, that you provided us a meeting, was when we had a demonstration. So if we had entered into negotiations months ago, then perhaps we wouldn't have been pushed to this point. The fact that we will not allow any other brands to come to this university who haven't signed on to the accord, that's significant. So we're wondering why JanSport is the holdout. And actually, we do have information that came out today from the WRC about a labor violation of JanSport. But what we're hearing is that you do not concede that JanSport and VF are the same company. Are we taking that as a no?
You can take it any way you want. I came to this meeting hoping that you and I and this group could have a very meaningful discussion and work toward something that you all would feel very good about.
Okay,
I
wonderful.
don't think that what you're doing is what you did at the last meeting, and you're placing out there, I demand. That's not a way to have it. You're doing it in a much more clever way today than you did at the last meeting. And we respect that. And we applaud you.
No, this is not a point to quibble over, because what we are trying to get at is if the university is going to cut with JanSport. And that is what really is the issue. However, as tuition,
as of this moment, we've not made that decision.
Okay.
But we're trying to get to the point where we can make that decision.
Also, if you didn't want to be disrespectful, so I would appreciate if, and I know it's really heated and I occasionally cut you off as well, but it does seem a bit like a patronizing thing to say that we are now clever and that we have finally learned our education. There literally are workers' lives at stake.
Let me ask this question. If your goal is to get us to cut the contract, do you feel like what you've done to this point is being effective in getting us?
Well, it seems like we got the meeting.
Is there another way we'd like to think about going forward?
I think we did letter drops for months, and we didn't get a meeting. We tried it. We tried it. The administrative. I would appreciate it if you would let me finish with my sentence.
Okay, but
I'm
please
sorry.
try to be honest, okay?
Could you elaborate on what I'm being dishonest about?
You asked for meetings.
With President Ramsey, yes, and we did not get that via letter drops.
It doesn't work that way.
It worked that way when we did direct action.
It's a large corporation. It's a large organization.
Are you talking about U of L as a corporation, or are you talking about JanSport right now?
The University of Louisville has 6,000 employees, 22,000 students. Yeah, we're a corporation. We've got to operate as a business.
So can I get that in writing, that we are a corporation and we can operate as a business?
We are a public university, and I think the fact that it's referred to as a corporation is kind of offensive to everyone here who is paying tuition. We are not stockholders in a university. We are not getting the bonuses that the administrators are receiving. We are not getting kickbacks from that. What are we getting back if not our voices heard and our demands
Do
met?
we want to elevate the conversation and try to get serious about a solution, or do we want to continue?
We want to get serious.
We can get back to our second point if you would like.
Well, answer Dr. Willingham's question.
Could you repeat yourself, Dr. Willinghams? I apologize.
I think, my goal in coming here today is to see if we can get to a decision about the issue that you brought to the table.
You would like that very much.
And I think one of the things that's happening right now is I don't see us getting closer. And so I'm wondering if there's another way to have this conversation that might help us there. Because what I'm perceiving is that there's not a way to have the conversation. There's a way for you to kind of present your position and for us to say yes or no. And that's a little bit different than what might actually be an effective tactic to make us allies and to get us where you want us to be. And that's what I'm trying to get us to. What would be a way that we could feel comfortable moving forward with the agenda you've put on the table?
If I could ask a question of the administration real quick. We would also really like a productive way forward in the conversations, obviously. We have our stated goals. We would love to come to a better understanding of where exactly the miscommunication is happening. But in order to do that, we really do feel it's necessary to settle on such basic terms as whether or not JanSport and VF are the same company.
The similar type of questions that would make you all uncomfortable, would make it hard.
We're happy to field them.
We're happy to field your
But
questions.
I don't know if that's productive. We want to set up a process that can get an ongoing dialogue going forward so that we can better understand the situation, so you all can be better informed. Kate, we talked about this this morning, that if you were involved, if you had representative involved in the ongoing dialogue, you would be better informed about what is the nature of that contractual relationship. We have a contractual relationship, so we have to make sure that we don't just violate those contractual relationships. And so you all would get better informed in that process. Like I told you this morning, you all have informed me a lot. I know so much more about this than I did before. So putting each other in difficult situations and forcing absolutes on yes, no, just doesn't allow for that.
Yep, this is a yes or no issue. So, and we actually know quite a bit. I mean, you've been very nice to this group, and we appreciate that. But we provided, again, the university information that we would have loved the administration to read upon. The fact that people are just being educated now seems like a real problem.
Right, but you have helped educate me in a huge way.
I'm
And
glad to
I
hear
would
that.
like to continue that education.
We have common ground here in that we want the 190,000 workers to be safe. Like I'm not assuming that we're disagreeing on this issue. I think that much of the administration, that you all care about these workers' lives. We want to find common ground to start building that discussion on. We have been running this campaign for a year. We, I think, are a bit worn out on arguing the same issues, and we just really want to clear up some of these issues that have been a main issue for us from the start.
Earlier in the fall, it wasn't JanSport.
We began asking about JanSport in our second meeting with Provost Willinghans at the end of September.
But there were other pieces too. It wasn't just JanSport, right?
Our second tier ask is that if the University of Louisville cuts with JanSport, that in its place it add more Altagracia. However, the issue in Bangladesh is so pressing, we feel like it did take precedent. I apologize if the administration feels uncomfortable. I mean, students have been sitting in the rotunda for almost 24 hours now, and I can say we don't feel the most comfortable either. Most of us haven't slept, so I apologize if that's the case. And it may not seem like it now, but I myself actually am not the most confrontational person. And this is something that that we have been pushed to because we feel like workers' rights are worth having this kind of a direct conversation. And I apologize if that makes the administration feel uncomfortable.
Excuse me if I sound accusatory, but you all took a long time for silence, and I'm just wondering if you've even read the information that we've been so grateful to present to you multiple times, because I don't feel like you even have knowledge about the question that we're asking, and that's why you're deferring back to this issue of process, which is becoming quite repetitive, I think. So can you explain to us like why you think that either the alliance or the accord is worth the brand signing on to? Can you even speak to either of those agreements?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Can you elaborate on the benefits or downfalls of either the alliance or the accord?
I'm not sure I understand.
I don't think that you've read the information that we've presented to you, which is why we
let me
filled the
phrase
rotunda.
it a different way. Over a period of time, you've given us information, and I've gone through the information. And
Then please educate us. Why do you think the alliance or the accord is beneficial for workers in Bangladesh?
You talk about 15 or 18 schools that have cut time.
18, 22 contracts.
Okay, I saw an article that was distributed today, 15.
It's
But how many
18.
schools are there?
18.
We're asking you to help us move in that direction.
And we have.
And you have, and it's been, as we have said, very helpful.
We're wondering what kind of information could we provide at this point to assist the university in arriving at an answer to, is JanSport the same company as VF?
You can commit to providing the appropriate representation to engage in an ongoing dialogue with the people on this campus who are going to make that decision.
This is a representative body. When the Affordable Care Act was being crafted, they didn't have wide swaths of population come into the White House and inform them on how to fix health care. They got the experts, they did the research themselves, and they took the steps. This is a representative body for students to issue, and that's what
Yeah, the respect that you feel that your experts are all here. But as I said at the prior meeting, these are complex issues. And I'm glad to hear you say that you don't feel the administration doesn't care about workers' well-being, because we do.
I believe that you all come down on the same side, that you value workers' rights. I do believe that, and that's why That's why we're having this
So-
discussion. If I could, I'm sorry, if I could just have a minute. You keep interrupting.
That's it. The meeting.
Both of you. I don't know about everyone else, but I'm feeling a little bit disrespected in the fact that I don't feel like you all have educated yourself on the mass amount of information that we have provided to you, because you all aren't speaking to any particulars. If we're wrong, feel free to prove us wrong.
I mean, you're free to feel any way you want.
We want you to prove us wrong. I would love to not feel that way. That's not a good feeling to have about the administration of the university that you attend. I want to feel more positively. Please, prove me wrong.
I can't do anything to change the way you
You
I
can
wanna try
provide
to-
me with
but I
information
do
about the
wanna
issues.
try to-
We want you to educate us. We
The
want to
bottom
educate
line
you.
is the discussion that you're trying to lead is not, let's just be blunt, it's not being productive.
So you have
Lead
a
the
problem?
discussion.
What I'm trying to do is get from point A, and point A is we have a contract with James. And you don't want us to have a contract with James, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So we're here today. That's where we are today. And if we don't find a way to move off of this point, then that's where we're gonna be. And that's not where you want us to be. So I implore you to help us. What have you got to lose? The only thing we can do is make, a decision that's consistent. But I'm just saying, you continue with this confrontational approach of trying to force us into something with the demands, and we're not going to get where you want to be. We want to try to help you get where you want to be, Rebecca.
Yes, we are confrontational at this point. We were pushed to that point. Again, we have not always been confrontational. We've been in conversations with media as we filled the rotunda, and we have a rally to go to outside. And Wave 3 just texted us, so we would like to know your answer. Will you cut the contract by tomorrow at 8 a.m.? We were hoping to get through the last 3 points, but
Well, Rebecca, in the media, you're playing to the media. It's like we talked about it last week. Sometimes I wonder really
if we care about the issues, I know you've told us that because of our theatrics, we feel that the administration is used to having kind of backdoor deals and having long discussions to draw these kind of things out. But yet, these students are here. These students are currently occupying the rotunda because we do care about the issues. We would not be doing that if we didn't care about the issues. But we would like to tell our media partners in a transparent way a yes or a no answer on this. So right now, can we tell our media partners who will be outside that the administration will not cut with JanSport?
Let me ask you a question. Will you do what Dean Martis has said and continue to work with us and help us get to a point where you want to be?
That sounded like a no.
Yeah.
I think.
I think that sounded like a no
That's all.
too.
Give us this time period. Let's create that. Help to be able to have that dialogue. And if a month from now, and I'm just throwing that out. We talked about what.
I don't think we want to give that time for another disaster to happen. I don't think the administration wants that. I think we want to get this resolved as fast as possible. We don't want that blood on our hands.
Right people at the table.
We could get this done today.
And
There's an opt-out clause in the contract.
I mean, we're asking the questions here, and quite frankly, I don't know how to ask them differently than to understand if the university even has a position on the nature of whether or not JanSport and VF are the same company. Does the university know?
of the 18 universities and the 22 contracts that have been cut, it was literally done with a pen stroke. In the same way that you all, in a letter, in the same way that you all actually did deliver a letter to all of the licensees, excluding JanSport, claiming that they're a separate issue, a separate company from VF, I feel like this is a bit of a stalling tactic, as we weren't even allowed to meet with you all until we resorted to direct action. The community is pressing the university to cut with JanSport. We have the Kentucky State president of the AFL-CIO, who has been working with us very heavily. We have the UFCW on our side. We have Teamsters on our side. We have local community groups on our side. We have Jobs for Justice on our side. We have dozens of faculty members at this point who have signed on to a letter that I am happy to forward to this administration, in fact, that have signed on saying they call for a cut for JanSport. So this is not just the student group at this point, this is community, this is faculty, this is the labor organization, this is religious groups. And honestly, all of those community members are calling for a cut right now. We will wait to hear from a response for you all. I promise you, every single university that is cut, I know members of those USAS groups who have worked to get those contract cuts. I promise you, it did not go through board meetings, it did not go through SGA. It happened because the president sent a letter. The power is in your hands. The power is in this administration's hands. So, we have community members who are waiting to hear a response. It is a yes or no issue. If you all feel that needs to be drawn out, we can draw this out as well. So,
Are you willing to be a part of the process? Are you willing to engage at that level? I mean, you all are going to make your decision about what you want to do, and in terms of continuing to be here in the building, and irregardless of whether you decide to be here or decide not to be here, are you willing to be a part of that process?
Sure, I am sure we are going to be a part of this however it goes forward. We would really prefer to get the issue over with and not drag it out, because that's not productive to anyone, not to you, not to us, not to those workers that we're concerned about.
we will move forward with our next steps.
Thank you all for having this meeting with us.